Imagine this, it's the 18th century and a lone cutter skims the open sea. She's small, nimble and fast, swiftly moving through water, smuggling goods under the noses of massive warships or delivering urgent message to change the tides of a battle. She doesn't have the firepower of a 74-gun giant, but she doesn't need it. And that's exactly why I love building ships like her. They tell stories of bravery and cunning without dedicating years to a single build. Let's be honest, tackling a massive warship with endless decks and rows of gun ports isn't for everyone. Those builds can feel like a factory assembly line, repeating the same task over and over again until the fan gets drained right out of it. Here is why I think smaller ships are the smarter choice and why building a massive warship might not be as glamorous as it seems. This video wants to be a tribute to smaller ships in modern shipmaking and hint to kit manufacturers to focus more on this kind of vessels that are usually made for beginners. This shouldn't be, in my opinion, the only driver moving companies to invest in new kits. Smaller ships and boats are far less time-consuming to build than something as massive and intricate as a first-rate ship of the line. If we take, for example, a model like the HMS Victory, on which companies are focusing on developing and improving kits in the last half-century, it could take years of dedicated work to complete, especially if you're adding scratch-built components. Smaller vessels like cutters, brigs, or fishing boats can often be completed in months or a year, making them ideal for builders who want the satisfaction of finishing a project within a reasonable time frame. Large ships require a significant amount of workspace during construction, not just for the ship itself but for the tools, jigs and components. Once finished, displaying such a massive model can also be a challenge. Smaller ships and boats are much more manageable to build in a small workshop and easier to find a place to showcase, whether in a display case or on a shelf. Goes without saying, the larger the ship, the more expensive the kits, materials or aftermarket parts will be. Smaller ships and boats are far more budget-friendly, while still offering plenty of room for creativity and details. For example, a high-quality smaller cutter kit can be satisfying to build as a big 74-gunner without requiring a small fortune for materials. So let's take an example. Ochre drops this new arsenal kit, HMS Victory, slaps a 1,400 euros price tag on it. And guess what? You're still no closer to owning a real arsenal model than you'd bought any other kit. Brilliant. Now, imagine if these companies took the same pile of cash and, instead of reinventing the overpriced wheel, actually invested in developing high-quality, large-scale model of smaller vessel, something that isn't a glorified toy for 150 euros. Now that would be interesting. Smaller vessels are excellent for mastering essential ship modeling skill without becoming overwhelming. Building a 74 cannon ship or even bigger can involve thousands of repetitive components like gun ports and cannons, which might lead to burnout. With a smaller ship you can focus on a vast variety of tasks without the daunting scale of first-rate ship. It's a perfect stepping stone for beginners and an enjoyable project for seasoned builders looking for something less intense. Smaller ships often represent historical significant yet overlooked classes of vessels like cutters, sloops, luggers or gunboats that played vital roles in naval history. These smaller crafts often have a unique rigging and hull design that add variety to a modeler's collection. They are also often better documented as they were simpler and widely used. Larger ships can often feel like a marathon. The repetition of similar tasks, gun ports, endless rigging, planking can become tedious. Smaller boats allow for more experimentation. You can focus on customizing details like paint, schemes, accessories, and weathering without the project feeling like a lifetime commitment. You might even kit bash a cutter or a schooner into something unique, drawing from historical references or your imagination. If you are newer to model shipbuilding or encouraging someone else to pick the hobby, smaller boats are far less intimidating than a towering 74-gun ship. They offer a chance to learn the craft without becoming overwhelmed by complexity. Smaller models are easier to transport to exhibition or model ship meets. They're also less fragile overall, as their compact size makes them sturdier when handled. And there you have it, smaller ships, less time, less money, less space, and a whole lot more fun. Meanwhile, the big kit manufacturers keep pumping out yet another HMS Victory kit, as if we don't already have enough 100-gun behemoths clogging up our workbenches. But hey, who am I to question genius? If you still dream of building a massive warship, go for it, I won't stop you. But if you actually want to finish a model in this lifetime, maybe consider something a little smarter. Anyway, that's it for today. Hit like, subscribe, or just furiously type "but big ships are cooler" in the comment section below. I'll probably read it. See you next time.